gonna have a quick mix while the decks are clear for a change, and then we're gonna build some truck. So that's a beautiful day. I thought I'd come out in the yard to do the truck, set up the spare rabbit hutch, some water and rock in there, and bring out one of my many turtles for a sunbathe and some RC trucking. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're from. It's like early afternoon here in England and the sun is blazing. So I thought I'd come outside to do some of the truck because we don't see weather like this often. Chances the weekend's here, so we're probably going to end up with some like thunderstorms, snowstorms, hurricanes, tornadoes, all the bad weather, typical British weather. So I'm just making the most of that. And so is one of the turtles here. Today's video, I've got here the grandola that I'm doing. In the last one I went over some basic steps on making your own custom side skirts, which are going to be a nice touch to this. But in this one we're going to be fitting the roof cap, so I'm going to get that all like glued in, and then we can fill that and get that in place, and then that's another step closer. Now I don't know if you can see from there, but I have gone over everywhere which I'd originally filled and got smoothed, and just put another course of filler over the top of it, just to be sure. I'm going to get the roof cap done. I've actually mounted the floor plan in there today because of the side skirts, and I am going to have to put like some plastic behind to brace it so as that they can stick under there to be filled. But obviously with the floor plan, that sits up flush to the cab as it is. So with that extra lip there, the skirts aren't going to go on without the cab being stretched, which then could potentially maybe like end up damaging the roof or pulling it apart from the roof, or reveal some cracking in the filler and stuff like that later down the line, and I don't want that. So I have just ground a couple of mil and removed the mounting brackets off the floor plan, because I'm not going to be mounting it with screws in the side. Once I finish this truck, the last thing I want is 4 Phillips head bolts just stuck in the side of that cab. It's not going to look pretty. Also, I'd like to say a big thank you to Darren Beniston in the comment section, who contacted me in regards to sending me his leftover parts from his builds, which I'm looking forward to seeing what there is and what we could do with that. But he also kindly made a donation to my PayPal, which I have put that towards the paints for this build. Now I'm not going to be using rattle cans on this, and I am going to be airbrushing it. I'm not going to be airbrushing any murals, but I want an auto finish, but it is going to be layered up of 11 different paints to get the effect I want. Now I don't really want to give anything away or say any more in regards to the paint, but yeah, massive thank you to you, Darren. I really appreciate that, and yeah, it's nice gesture. Thank you. So this should be relatively straightforward. As you can see, I've prepped everything, and I want to get the roof installed because I don't think I have anything left to do as far as the bodywork goes, with the exception of the side skirts. I was unsure on roof lights and I've decided against them. I'm still a little bit unsure on whether to have lights on the actual cab roof or delete those as well, but that's not an issue for filling, sanding and priming. The roof isn't in my way should I change my mind, but it's getting to the point where I need to start decision making a little bit quickly. I'm not going to rush the build, and I have no intention of rushing it. So the roof, I don't know if you've noticed from the last one, it's all looks to have been reprimed and flattened down yet again. So this roof, for this, I'm going to be using my trusted Yoo-hoo. This is like the modelling version Yoo-hoo for plastics, and we should have enough umbrella filler left in there just to run in all the cracks and the edges once that roof's on. So first step, I am going to do this in sections. I'm not just going to glue all the roof in and then hope it lines up. I'm going to start by running the glue toward the front of the roof and then bonding that up to the back there like so, and then we can let that go off, and then we can work with another side and glue another side and then get that in, and then followed by the next side. So I mean, if you're doing one of these, it's down to you how you put it on, but I want the neatest job possible, and I don't want glue everywhere, and I don't want to make a hash of it. So I'd rather take my time, less chitty chat, and a little more action. Sorry about that, glue had just come pouring out as I took the lid off. So I'm just going to run a fine layer more to the lower part of the roof there. You can see I've resanded all the inside, scuffed everything up, and if you've noticed, I've left that white so I'm not gluing onto paint, so we do have plastic onto plastic. And with that, the only reason I've kept the glue to the lower part, I don't want it seeping out into the crevices like within the sleeper. That's going to be an absolute pain in the ass to clean up. So now I'm just going to work this into position. This is the good thing with a flexible glue. There we go. Right. So I've got that held where I want that now, so I'm just going to have to sit here and probably hold this for 5 minutes just while it gets some bond, so I'll check back in a moment.
Much later.
So while I've got that front bit setting up to the cab there, I've just got a bit of CA glue, and just over the lip I've just run some of that carefully just to fill in any cracks or anything that hasn't been glued. So again, I'm just going to leave that to go off a bit, and then I can come back with the Gorilla on the brush and carefully just pulling that apart. Basically a similar way that I've just applied my Zimmerit coating to the tank. Now on the sides, I'm not too bothered about glue seeping out on the sides because that's easier to clean up. But that front section, if glue was to pour out like out the front of the cab, you've got so far between the front of the cab and the sleeper portion, so chances you're going to damage your cab trying to sand it and stuff, and it could just look messy. So I've just been and treated myself to a coffee while we had that clamped up there. Just added some extra clamps just to hold it in. Now this bit, using the Gorilla Glue and the brush, should be much easier. Just to pull that apart and get the brush in there. Now I don't know if the camera is going to be able to see me in there, but we'll just try and work with what we've got. But as long as you have an idea of what I'm doing, I suppose that's better than nothing. Now this is a little more difficult because you have nothing to clamp against, as we do there with the centre section missing between the sleeper and the cab. So again, it's just going to be a case of me doing the clamping. So again, I'll check back in a few minutes.
Later that day.
So I've just showed you on that side, and I'm basically now just going to repeat the same on that side. So I'll just come back when I've glued that. You've seen me glue that and that. It's basically the same principle as that. Now the roof's glued and in place, I do have a slight little edge from the sleeper to the roof there, but all this can be fine-tuned with filler and build that up and get it looking as smooth as possible. So for the moment, for this video, I am just going to start applying the filler, the first coats, get that in there, and then get that smoothed out, and then we're going to wrap that video up there. And then, as I say, it's just a case of like fine-tuning and just keep going over with filler until I've got it built up to where I'm happy with it, basically. And just as I did when I was doing Rusty, when I cut the sleeper off Rusty and filled in the piece, literally it's just a gap filler, basically. If anyone's interested to bring the kids to the house, it's £1.50 entry fee. We've got turtles, cats, rabbits. So yeah, just hit me up in the comments, and we can sort your tickets out. We do day passes for £5, and if you're a family of 4, you get £1 off. I swear to God, this is a fucking madhouse. So I've got this block here. It's just perfect for this build, basically, between the arch to the thing. So I can just apply a bit of pressure here now and start just squeezing this into the gaps. Cat just fell off the shed.
What's going on, Dina? Just another day in the nut house now.
So that's my first coat of filler applied. Now basically I'm just going to have to wait till much later, and then I can sand that off. I'll have another look at it, and then I can just continue to be applying the filler and just getting it all right there. So it's had plenty of time now to set this and go off. So I'm using just a light 400 grit, and I'm just going to lightly sand it down so it's all smooth. And then from there, I'm just going to keep reapplying and reapplying just to build up the corners and make sure any pinpricks have gone, just as I've done round where the air filter went, the lights, everything. So like I say, I'm using a 400 grit here. Nothing too heavy. I like to work slowly in circles. A lot of people might just go hell for leather on it, but I don't know, I just like working in circles. Don't know why. So we're not 100% flattened here yet, but you can see the cracks just in between. Now this is why I keep reapplying the filler and reapplying. You just end up with like little pinpricks. So I mean, they may go the more I flatten it down. So I'd love to stay here on camera doing all the filling, sanding work, but then we could be here for another eternity and you're all just going to start getting bored. But I hope this gives you the basic idea of what to do to fit the roofs and with the filling, etc. Now, as I said, I am getting some little bits within the crack which are being pulled back out and stuff, and the odd little pinpricks. So in my free time over the next few days and stuff, I'll just keep doing as I've done everywhere else, and I'll just keep filling and sanding that. It's a slow process and it is long, and I don't want to try and make it boring for you as a viewer. So little by little this truck is coming together, and you can see that through all the videos. I know it's not like dramatic, but this isn't your basic kit build that you can knock up within 12 hours, well 24 with paint. Surely but slowly over the next few weeks we are going to start seeing this transforming and stuff. I'll hopefully have the sleeper extensions profiled to the tanks, and that way I can then move on with the cab and start laying down some sealers and getting some base coats down and things like that. But there is also the chassis rails I need to work on, so they're going to want pulling apart again, and then I can prep all the chassis rails there. There's a couple of more holes that need drilling for the gearbox and my bridge with the double output drive to extend my prop shaft, unless I do just go with an extended prop and just have one prop right down the centre. So as far as I'm aware, there's 4 more holes to drill on the chassis, and then it's down to more prep work for that. So yeah, I do thank you all for watching and tuning in and listening to me waffle on and watching me sand and this and that. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Ciao for now, guys. There's my roof's on.
What?
Oh, my roof's on. Just need some more filling and sanding around there. Impressive. Watch this. The roof is on.